Hey guys, as you can see, I am back from my field exercise. You might notice I have a little bit of a tan compared to last time. Pretty much out in the sun for most of the day, getting that good sunlight in. So yeah, I came back yesterday around 6 p.m. roughly. It was a bit of an ordeal. So found out I was going home Wednesday night, pretty good mood. Thursday, pack up our things, and good amount of us were able to go back. So we drove back, went to turn in my rifle, um, and just get all my pack together to bring home all my gear. And lo and behold, I find out that my car battery died while I was gone. In my rush of getting all my things together and trying to get ready, last Wednesday I actually left what do you call it? The car light. I don't know what to call it. The lights up the inside of the car on, and obviously since I was gone for like 9-10 days, the battery died, and I'm gonna have to buy a new battery and install that. So that was not fun to come back to, especially once all I'm thinking about is getting back home, showering, all that good stuff. No showering for 10 days. Definitely, you feel really grimy. So when I found out my car was dead, it was definitely like such an annoying thing to deal with. But these things happen, and I'm here now. Still gotta put in my car battery. Got a ride home from my friend Owen, who was watching Gimli while I was gone. So that's that. I guess I'll briefly talk about what my experience was like while I was gone. Some interesting stuff. This is maybe my third field exercise that I've been on. Um, this one was a lot different from the other ones because I wasn't doing my actual job. Generally speaking, I would be going with my parent command, the unit that I'm a part of, but we were tasked out. A lot of people from different commands were tasked out to help out with a field exercise, this field exercise, which, funny enough, I'm pretty sure will carry over potentially to next week, in which I might be going back with my actual command, my actual platoon, going back to the same area that I was a part of these past 9 days, and I might be going back to the same area to do some more work, and this time actually do my normal job as a part of a field exercise. Like I said, I wasn't doing my normal job for like the first 4 days. We were just setting up the camp, so it's like setting up tents and all the surrounding barriers and stuff, which took 4 days. It was pretty hard work. We were mainly working with engineers and all the other people that got pooled to help out with setting up the camp. It took 4 days total, nonstop work. You wake up, eat breakfast, go work, then go to sleep. So it was definitely tiring at first. Um, like I said, this was a last minute thing for me to be able to go on this field exercise. I was told about it uh, the day before it was set to take place, so I didn't really have a lot of time to prepare. But that's all right. You got to be prepared at all times for all these unforeseen things that could pop up. Uh, I was definitely upset about it because my parents were coming. My mom and my stepdad were coming to visit me this last weekend, and I wasn't able to see them because I had to go on this field exercise. They still ended up coming over, and they visited my dog while I was away and all that, so that was good. But it sucked not being able to see them, for sure. Um, the first night that we went out on the exercise, we slept outside because we didn't have tents set up for us to sleep in yet, and it was cold, very, very cold. The coldest night while we were out there, and thank God we had the tent set up by this time, was like 30 degrees. It was like so cold that in like the taller grass you just see frost covering the ground. So it was very cold. So the first night sleeping out in the cold was definitely not fun, especially waking up freezing. Not fun. But hey, what all these difficult sort of sufferings that you have to go through ultimately will be to your benefit in the future. So even though I wouldn't want to do it again, I'm glad I did do it, and it's a good experience. Apart from that, we were able to watch the Super Bowl, which is pretty cool. They got a projector. They brought us some burgers and hot dogs, and so we ate burgers and hot dogs and watched the Super Bowl. So that was pretty cool. Um, what else? Yeah, once we set up the tents, we were sleeping in tents, which was nice. Uh, let's see what else. Yeah, the first 4 days, basically setting up the camp, building it up, all that stuff. Stuff I'm not used to because, like I said, it's kind of engineering work. So that's cool to do something different from what I usually do. After that, we were just pulling guard shifts. It was 8-hour shifts. So it wasn't too bad. I was just sitting down and watching a post, and that started on Monday. So that's when I was able to start reading because, like I said, the first 4 days was nonstop work. I really didn't have time to read, and in the very limited free time I did have, I just wanted to go to sleep. So I didn't read the early part, but then starting Monday, I was able to read, write a little bit, took notes, what I was reading, and just my thoughts in general. I was reading Beyond Good and Evil. I still am reading it. I haven't finished it yet, by Nietzsche. It's a very good book. I've been trying to read Thus Spoke Zarathustra and Will to Power. I definitely feel like Beyond Good and Evil is a lot easier. First and foremost, Thus Spoke Zarathustra is a novel, and it's kind of written in this this prose style. I don't know if I'm using the word prose correctly, but it's very kind of poetic, and it's fiction, right? But it's used to exclaim or just describe these deeper philosophical meanings. Will to Power is a collection of Nietzsche's works and essays throughout the years, so it's a little bit unorganized. So therefore, Beyond Good and Evil, being a nonfiction book that Nietzsche wrote all the way through, it's a comprehensive explanation of his philosophy and a lot easier to read than the other two. So I'm enjoying that so far. Like I said, I was journaling a lot, taking notes on things I was feeling and the book that I was reading as well. Let's see what else. It's interesting when you're out in the field. Obviously, you don't have as much access to all these like hyper stimuli, all these comforts, distractions. You don't have TV, you don't have video games. I still had my phone with me, but I wasn't checking my phone that often, and there weren't a lot of opportunities to charge my phone, so I wasn't using it that often. Maybe an hour a day at most. So you really don't have all your distractions. You're kind of just alone with your thoughts, my book, my writing. That's it, and the people that you're around. And I'll get into that because there were some good moments in terms of meeting new people, having good conversations. But like I said, without like all the distractions, hyperstimulating substances, and comforts, which I feel dull our senses, my emotions were definitely a little bit heightened. So like the sad times, like there weren't a lot of sad times, obviously. It's just a regular field op. But I remember I saw this ground squirrel that was just sitting in its hole. And most of the ground squirrels would just run when you got near them. But I noticed that this ground squirrel wasn't moving at all. And I kind of thought to myself, I felt like it was dying, like it was sick because of how it was just sitting there. I remember 2 days later, I walked by that same hole and I saw, I believe, the same ground squirrel. I just dead in its hole. So I guess it had been dying and it finally did die. And like generally, if I see like a dead animal on the side of the road, I wouldn't really think about it. But for some reason, I felt sad watching this just lifeless animal there, especially seeing it kind of living its last moments a few days before. Maybe it's because I miss my dog, and seeing that little squirrel kind of reminded me of Gimli, maybe. I don't know. There's also, so we had porter potties to use the restroom for, and there's this giant black widow in one of the porter potties I was using, and I won't say I'm afraid of spiders, but I don't really like spiders. So I used the barrel of my rifle to like stomp it and kill it, the black widow, and just the way its guts kind of came out of his body, I couldn't help but feel bad because black widows, they stick with their web, so they don't really come out. They're not like that. They're not the kind of spiders that will hunt. They'll kind of wait for flies or whatever to get stranded in their web. So realistically, it wasn't going to do anything to me. But it bothered me so much that I just felt I had to kill it. And I felt bad for killing it afterwards. Felt sad, and I don't think I usually would if it wasn't for being able to have this full range of emotions from not having all these distractions. That being said, the good times were also really good. Like when I did eventually have breaks starting Monday, I remember on Monday, I was just laying down in the tent on my isomat, and I was just listening to music. I like Lil Peep a lot, so I was listening to Lil Peep, just like thinking about things, laying back, and it was bliss. It was perfect. It was nice out. It was warm by this point in the day, and it was just a really nice, calm, relaxing moment. And since I hadn't been able to listen to music for quite some time, a few days, it was like extra enjoyable to listen to it. So I think there's something to be learned from that. Restricting yourself from having too many distractions and comforts and hyperstimulating substances in order that you enjoy things more. So I think that there's something to that. I was also sad about not being able to see my family because obviously they were there. My mom sent me pictures of them playing with my dog, and I was kind of sad. Like, I wish I was there. Yeah, but overall, like I said, there was a lot of good times. I met some people that I had really good conversations with. Might even have them on the channel at some point for a podcast or a live stream to discuss philosophy and whatnot. So that was really nice to make new friends and have good conversations. Besides just people we talked about, and besides like philosophy, just talking about normal stuff. There was a lot of more junior Marines there. So like PFCs, which is like a lower rank, and Lance Corporal. So I'm a corporal, so I'm an NCO. And in my command, pretty much everybody is like already a NCO because our training is so long before we actually go out to the fleet to do our job that most people are already at E4, which isn't the case for most commands because most of them have a lot quicker schooling. So there was a lot of lower ranks, and it was interesting to be in a kind of like higher rank there because usually I'm the same rank as everyone else. So it's like a little bit of a leadership thing. Like I wasn't really put in like a super leadership position there or anything. It's kind of, we're just kind of doing our jobs. But in a way, it was almost like, it was different, right? To be one of the more senior people there. So that was kind of interesting. And it was just good to meet new people from different, that do different jobs in the military and find out a little bit about them. And we should be having like a little reunion on Saturday, Buffalo Wild Wings. So that would be cool if that ends up happening. But yeah, it was a good time overall. Like I'm glad I did it. Wouldn't want to do it again if I had to redo it, but since I have done it already, I'm glad I did it. Might have to go back out to the field next week, which will suck, but it's all right. You gotta roll with the punches in life, right? And I mean, something I have no control over. So if I gotta do it, I gotta do it, and I'll make the most of it, like I did with this experience. So I don't really have anything else I want to talk about. I just want to give a brief update about what's going on. Obviously, since I might be going to the field again next week, there's really not a lot of content I'll be able to put out, but I'll try to do my best in the time that I do have. I do have a long weekend because of President's Day, so I have the day off today. So hopefully I'm able to get a little bit of stuff done while I'm free. But yeah, good experience. Glad I did it. Tough at times, very cold, especially in the morning, but you know, one of the silver linings is we did have hot meals in the morning and evening after the first few days, which was nice. I mean, it wasn't great food, obviously. It was all like prepackaged, lots of preservatives, but it was nice to not have to eat MREs all the time because MREs, for me at least, they definitely give me a bit of constipation and not fun. But yeah, I got a good tan out of it, dry lips, a little bit dehydrated, but I'm getting back into the flow of things, feeling energized again. Got to see my buddy. Come here. Got to see my buddy, Gimli. I missed him a lot. So things are good. Life is good. Thankful, and trying to make some videos this weekend. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I'm enjoying a nice little beer right now. Peroni. I think it's an Italian. Well, obviously, it's an Italian beer. It's pretty good. You can't have this, Gimli. Sorry. But yeah, life is good. And it's funny, the last video was reflections on death. Maybe this is a reflection on life. Life is good, and try not to overindulge in pleasures and comforts and hyperstimuli, because the less distracted you are by these things, the more I think you'll actually find yourself enjoying life. You need to have those bad times in order to have the good times too. So the best self-medication, I think, is going out, having sunlight beating down on you, going on long walks, and being more in touch with our natural state, which is ultimately being outside, constantly moving, and being one with nature, as cliche as that sounds. But anyway, it's good to be back, and look forward to making some videos this weekend and interacting with you all. So, yeah. As always, this is the Warrior Philosopher, building the foundations of the Warrior Philosophy. I'll see you next time.